Have you ever asked yourself what is habits and the impact of habits? Today, we will spend some time examining definitions of habits and the positive and negative effects that habits can have on you. Now, I want to say, first of all, just before going into today's program, that today's program comes to you with a kind compliments of the bestseller portal. In the event that you have never seen or heard about the bestseller portal, I want to encourage you to go to this website. Now, when you go to the website, you will see some of the programs that are offered by the bestseller portal. For example, you will learn about One Degree to Success. Now, One Degree to Success is a very unique program. This program really gets you to think about mastery wares in how you can position yourself for success. For example, you will learn how to master the art and science of success. So I want to encourage you to go to this website and take some time and really see how this website can help you to form the right habits that can push you forward in business and push you forward in life. So, with that being said, I want to bring you back to today's topic. Today, we are looking at definitions and importance of habits. And I want to begin today's examination by looking at a definition of habit. Now, what exactly is habit? Habit is repeatable behavior that become and or they're naturalized already. For example, reading is a habit, and I do encourage persons to practice reading a lot. Read the right books. It is an essential habit that has tremendous benefits, and I will talk a little bit about that today. So, reading is a habit. What are some of the benefits in reading? There are some of the things that I want us to look at today. Now, before I look at benefits of reading, I want to share with you some of the books that I would have read over 30 years ago because the habit of reading is something that I would have developed many, many years. For example, some of the books that I really enjoy reading back in the days is like Born Identity, Born Supremacy, Ultimate Weekend. I literally read out the entire series of books. And anyone that knows about these books is a pretty exciting up-tempo book because it's a lot about FBI's and CIA and how the mind works. For me, reading those books and digging into those books really helps you to understand how the mind works. And I think it's the earlier reading of those books that led me, myself, to become a different type of an author. Some of the other books that I would have read is The Art of War. And one of the things that you learn in business and in life is that life is very much like a war. You have to know how to navigate the realities of life. And you have some important nuggets to take away from some of the books because some of these books are well researched. One might want to say, hey, Born Identity and Ultimate Weekend is as fiction. It's a figment of someone's imagination. But guess what? Many of those books are research driven. And what it helps you to do is to understand some of the inner working of how this side of the world works. So these are healthy habits because reading does several things for you. And let's look at some of the benefits here. Reading helps you to discover unknown world. Yes, it does. It helps you to learn things that you didn't know. It helps you to learn things that you may be surprised about. And you should make reading a healthy habit. And as I go deeper into today's program, I will really examine more of the importance. An example of the importance of reading. Today, you don't have information about starting and scaling a business, but because there's books, because someone would have done research, because someone would have documented their experiences in that book, you can now read, and tomorrow you are smarter than you were the day before. So, reading helps you to discover new things. Reading helps you to even better understand yourself. So, you read to discover and you read to understand the world around you, things around you. But let me also put it this way: you read not only to learn, but you read to be able to apply the information. You read to be able to master the information. You read to be able to conquer a challenge. And reading has all of these benefits. The mind that reads is more filled than the mind that doesn't read. So, for young people today, I want to encourage you to spend as much time as possible getting the right books, reading the right books. And don't only read for the fun of doing it, that's okay. But read to learn and understand, read to be able to apply information, read to be able to conquer situation, especially in the academic context. In the context of academic, you're not only reading to learn, you're reading to apply, and you're reading to be able to conquer. All right, so you want to keep this in mind. As a young academic, as a rising star in business, if you're not exposed to the right information, you have a challenge. You have a challenge. Because today there are books on almost every subject. So whether you want to know more about finance, what are financial instruments, different type of financial instruments, how to access financial instruments, smart ways to leverage financial instruments, and possibly how to mitigate capital markets in the smart way, there's some form of information out there that you can get. And having this type of information is what's going to set you up for success. It's going to set you up to conquer some challenge that the business is likely to experience. So reading is vital. And I want you to see this as an habit. And I've shown you some of the importance of the habit. So do take note of this. I'll do a short commercial break. And when I come back, I want to talk about writing as an habit. And you don't want to go away because you want to stay here. You want to get settled in. You want to call a friend and tell a friend that today we're talking about definitions of habits and the importance of habits. Now, you rise and fall in habits. You're right where you are in life today because of habits. And if you're at a place in life where you don't necessarily want to be, you can break that habit. You can replace that habit with the right habits. All right? Because you can rise and fall on habits. You can break a bad habit and replace it with a good habit. And reading is definitely a good habit. Read the right books. All right? Read the right books. I've given you a list of books that I've enjoyed reading many years ago, and perhaps you can get your hand on some of those books and read it. Now, I'll go for a break, and I want to again introduce the bestseller portal. In the event that you have never heard about the bestseller portal, this is the time that I want to encourage you to go to the site. It is www.bestsellerportal.org. You have a lot to learn from this platform. I just spoke about 1 degree to success. Now, every step in the right direction is 1 degree to success. And success is something that many people in the world you're striving to accomplish. But sometimes it seems to you that every step in the right direction seems to be pulling you 10 steps away from the destination. Well, this program really do a deep dive into these concepts. So moving forward, you have a clear mental picture of practical steps that you can take to position yourself for success. 1 degree to success will set you up for success. And just let me talk to you a little bit about this program. You see, the beauty about this program, it helps you to understand how to define success. What exactly is success? And the platform in and of itself, it helps you to understand 3 levels of success. So moving forward, you have a clear mental picture in terms of what is success. All right, you know it. From there, it helps you to understand what is the art of success. Now, in the context of art, what this program looks at is what are the strategies are best deployed to help you with the success that you want to accomplish. So whether you want to accomplish success in business or success in life, it helps you to identify the appropriate strategies to achieve that objective. Once you conquer strategy, it helps you to understand the right tools to accomplish whatever success you're going after. And then it helps you to understand the right processes. And these are all different tools that you need to understand when you want to position yourself for success. You're going to struggle in business and you're going to struggle in life largely because you don't have the right strategies. Perhaps you're not reading enough to learn and apply the right strategies. All right. But this program, 1 degree to success, is really going to unlock this body of knowledge for you and set you up for success. So this is the kind of program that you don't want to miss. But when you come to the website, when you go to the website, there are many other programs that are made just for you. The second program that you will learn is Business Success Blueprint. Is there a success to attract success? Is there a blueprint to attract success in business? And yes, there is. And this program will really help you to understand that. But I'll talk more about this as we go into today's program. Now, today we're looking at definitions of habits, definition and impact of habits. Now, the next habit that I want to talk about, because I believe it is essential for you to have, to know, and to apply. What about the habits of writing? You see, many persons hardly ever write. Is it a good? Is it a bad habit? What are the importance of these habits? Now, let me say something. I could recall when I lectured, I think was the certificate and diploma program in marketing at the American University. One of the things I tried to get the students to do is 4 basic things. One was to read a lot, write a lot, talk a lot, and teach. Now I want to examine some of the importance of writing. One of the things that writing does, it helps you to test your ability to retain information. Now, let us suppose that you are pursuing a particular study. Might be financial intelligence, might be sales communication, might be, debt mitigation, but you're pursuing a study. and you're reading. Kudos to you. But how do you test your ability in retaining that information? One of the habits that I've learned many years ago that helps you to test your ability to retain information is to write about the subject matter. You want to write about that subject matter. So when you attempt to write about the subject matter that you're studying, several things happen. If you write with ease, it tells you what? It tells you that you have that body of knowledge. But if you're struggling to express yourself in writing, it is telling you something else too. It tells you that you don't have enough information, and that's why you are struggling in that writing process. So it means what? It means you need to get back to reading so you can expand the knowledge, and then you test yourself again at writing. Along with that, writing is a healthy practice. As an author myself, I've written many books. We have just released 11 volume of that book titled Master the Sales Communication Process. And just let me show you a little bit about the books. We have just released 11 volume of that book, Master the Sales Communication Process. So when I talk about writing, I'm not just saying something to you because it's not one of the healthy practice that I do. Now, when you go to bestseller portal, and you will see the books. These are 11 volumes of the book, Master the Sales Communication Process. And I can say that in writing these books, it has helped me tremendously. All right. And I'm going to break this down so you get an understanding now as to how writing is a healthy habit and how it can help you. Now, one of the things that writing does, it helps you to overcome a concept that we call writer's block. Writer's block. You know, as an author, very often you reach a point that you want to express a thought, but you're out of thought process. You just don't know how to put together your thoughts to express yourself in a way that makes a lot of sense. We call it writer's block. One of the challenge about the writer's block is that sometimes it pops up when you don't expect it or want it to pop up. I should say you don't want it to pop up, but you should expect it if you're not practicing the craft and the art of writing. You're not building healthy habits around writing. I could recall many years ago when I did my Cambridge Studies international program. I could recall sitting in the classroom and I saw one of the students start to tear the paper, the exam paper that they were writing on, and they started to cry. I guess writer's block stepped in. Nothing to laugh about, but I just shared an experience. Fortunate for me because this is a habit that I was practicing for many, many, many years. I didn't have that writer's block. In fact, I was one of the first person to exit the exam room because I was reading a lot, I was writing a lot, and I was doing more. So I had overcome that writer's block. And I have conquered knowledge of the subject that we were writing on. In an exam room, you have to write. All right. If you're not doing mathematical equation, you have to write. And when you don't have healthy habits around reading and writing, it's going to undermine your ability to perform in the classroom. It will undermine your ability to perform. So these are essential habits: writing, reading, writing, that can carry you throughout your life. Now, because I've formed a healthy habit around writing many, many years, I did this since I was in my teens, reading and writing. I developed a habit now, not just writing for an exam or writing for the fun of doing it. I started writing books, and I started writing a certain type of book that was specific to certain type of demographics. And in most of my books today, I write about branding and marketing. I write about social media influencers. I write about financial instruments. And what it does every time, it is helping me to test my ability to retain information. It's helping me to test my ability to apply information. It's helping me to test my ability to master information. And it's helping me to test my ability to conquer a situation. And writing does all of this for you. All right. You're not at a loss for words to express yourself because you have mastered a craft, a particular habit. All right. So very often you may see good speakers and good leaders, but you're seeing them and you say, hey, these people are good at articulating themselves, but the work at the back end, very often you don't see it. So what I'm talking about today is those essential habits that can help you to become a good speaker, a good writer, a better leader, because you learn some of the essential habits that can set you on that pathway for success. So I read today. I train the mind to read for several reasons. It's to test the ability to retain information. Again, I said, if you recognize that you're writing and you are experienced writer's block, or you just don't know how to express yourself clearly, go back to reading. The possibility exists that you might be writing about financial instruments. You might want to express yourself on what is debt instrument and how is debt instrument different from equity financing, because there are major differences here. But you experience writer's block. What does that say? It says that you don't have enough information about the subject. So you go back to reading and then you come back to writing, and you're testing your ability to retain the information and intellectualize that information and transfer that information in form of writing. You're testing yourself throughout this entire process. So writing is a healthy habit. It's not just writing with no objective. You're writing with a clear mental picture of how it's going to help you to develop yourself. And as I said early on, when I rolled out that lecture program at the American University many years ago, this was part of the strategy that I was using to really help the student to develop an exceptional ability, not only to know the knowledge, because sometimes you have the information, but you just can't articulate yourself with that information. That's a challenge. So my role was to get them through that gate of struggling to articulate self, and I build this system out. So you write to test your ability to retain information. You write because you want to apply this information. You have a body of knowledge. How do you apply this information? How do you share this information to ensure that A rising star in business understand the process of commanding attention, piquing interest, arousing desire, and moving a client into action. You write about it. This is one way in how you can apply your knowledge from out of the brain into onto the paper, and you're applying this body of knowledge. When you write, you're also developing a fair degree of mastery over the subject. Last but not least, you conquer a particular challenge. All right. So I trust that these two habits would have helped you in learning something new about habits, because habits is what we call the repeatable behavior that becomes natural, or repeatable behavior that are actually natural. All right, so I'm going to take another break. I want to talk to you briefly now about the blueprint to the business success blueprint. Now, one of the things that I talk about a lot is that when we look at the statistics, we saw that in 2021, 20% of business startups fail. Have you ever asked yourself why so many business startups are failing? In 2023, we also look at the fact that 40% of business startups fail. And in 2021, 2022, and 2023, in 2023, we had 49.9% of business startups fail. Now, this is an area of study that we have been looking at for many years, and that is why so many businesses are failing. And businesses just don't fail for the sake of failing. There are reasons why businesses are failing. So the business success blueprint really helps you to understand some of those reasons behind business failure. Some of the concepts that you're immediately introduced to with this program is the concept that we talk about, proactive leadership, the proactive leaders ecosystem. Now, the proactive leaders ecosystem really gets you, the rising star in business, to understand some of these essential tenets of the proactive leaders. All right. In this context, you're exposed to information that really helps you to think ahead about the business process. And what are some of those things that you should be thinking ahead when it comes to your business process? You want to be thinking ahead about the critical human resources that you need to move that business idea forward. Today, what we have, instead of you thinking about the critical human resources to move the business process forward and brainstorming the best way to attract those human resources to the organization, guess what? You end up doing business, me, myself, and I. And that very often is a recipe to undermine the success of the business. Because a business is not designed to necessarily be a one-man show, especially when you look at all the moving parts of a business. So when you, the rising star in business, gets into business and you run it like a one-man show, you set up a stage for that disaster to take place. And let me say this, to run a business and to run it well, you need your public relation. And public relation and marketing is not an easy task. It begins with things like market research. All right, you want to be able to research the market. And by researching the market, what exactly do I mean? You want to know your ideal client. You want to know if the market is viable. You want to know if innovating the products or services is helping you to reach an urgent and immediate need. You want to research if the ideal client has the ability and the willingness to invest in your products and services. So there are so many moving parts to starting a business, but very often when you start a business as a lone soldier, it undermines your ability to be successful, because the research element is only one element of what needs to be done to help that business to grow and to scale. Other examples that you have to look at in this case, why you're going to fail, and that's a habit that you need to avoid. Don't do it as a lone soldier, because from the market research, you now have to develop advertising and marketing content. You may have to develop advertising, marketing content for mass media. And as you develop advertising and marketing content for mass media, it is never only about just developing content for mass media. If you follow me, you would understand I have expressed myself several times at this particular point. The ad that you're producing to appeal to a specific target market has to be written and designed in a particular way. And if your advertising copywriter is not taking this into consideration, you can defeat the whole purpose of producing the ad. Now, you need a subject matter expert to execute on this process. But instead of you having a subject matter expert to execute on the production process, you're doing this, me, myself, and I. And there's no way that you can handle all of this. And there's so many moving parts. So you have the element of production, but then you also have the element of placement. How do you go about placing the ad? You should have a subject matter expert supporting you with this also, because you are not just placing the ad into mass media and communication channels. You're placing the ad strategically to reach the ideal client. But what are those predictabilities? What are those indicators that says to you that you're going to reach the ideal client when you do the placement? If you don't have the information, that exercise can be futile, which is going to cause you money, stress, and perhaps sleepless nights. In cases when you might be taking a debt to invest into the visibility of your brand. So again, because you are practicing scaling a business as a lone soldier, that practice in of itself is going to undermine the business potential to achieve its success. So one of the things that this program looks at, it really helps you to understand, how do we build out a successful business model? Your business would need to be built out with showing your organization chart, showing your strategic team, how it is built out. And at the strategic level, you're supposed to have your board of directors that are vital or have the vital skills to move the vision forward. So the way your board of directors should look is that your board of directors should be able to help you to go through the selection, recruitment, and placement of the critical human resources that you need to function perhaps at the tactical and operational level. Your board of directors should also build out of perhaps investors, and should also have financial specialists, because one of the things that your business will need is access to capital. So as we look at the business success blueprint, we go into all of this. Now, let me put this one to you. You might say, hey, I don't have the capital to attract all the talents to my organization. But what about negotiation skills? Perhaps if you practice two of the habits, one of the habits that I spoke about earlier on, reading, you might learn something about negotiation. So you may not have the capital, but what if you are able to develop your business model in such a way to appeal to the right investors, to appeal to the right partners? But you don't know this because you don't have the habits of reading. So that body of knowledge slipped you. They say if you want to, hide information, put it in the book. Perhaps that's still stand. So they are the business success blueprint. I want to say to you, it is an essential habit that you can form to learn this. I'm going to put this to you as an important habit because it really helps you to understand how to start a business. And there are so many different moving parts. Can you imagine you a lone wolf? You are doing the accounting, you're doing the public relation, the marketing, the HR, you're doing the social media influencer, you're literally doing everything. And still you have to produce or provide products and services. You're going to get burnout and that vision will be compromised. So the business success blueprint will help you to really unlock this body of knowledge and leverage it to your advantage so you're better positioned to be successful in business and in life. So what I want to say in moving on from this particular point is that if you're doing business as a lone wolf, perhaps depending on the type of business that you have, it's a bad habit. So you want to now learn very quickly how you can replace that bad habit with a good habit. And a good habit could be learning how to negotiate, learning how to bring in partners. You may not have capital to pay weekly or monthly salary, but you can negotiate and you show equity. All right. You build your brand out and you're able to do your market forecast, the viability tested of the business model. So you can now put equity in front of potential partners. And you can say, I'm going to give you 5% of my business. And the business has the potential to generate $100 million annually. So 5% equate to $5 million. So you're going to have some happy trooper going to say, hey, I'm going to work for you because I got specific talent that can help to move that business forward. Negotiation. All right. So reading can help you to understand all of this and really put you in a position of strength to apply this body of knowledge to be successful. So I trust you have seen the importance of this. Now, what I also want to do, the bestseller portal, and go to this website, the bestseller portal, there are a number of unique programs that are built out just for you, the rising star in business. All right. And the next program I want to talk to you about is what we call the GIP initiative. The GIP initiative. And what this program does, it helps you to form healthy habits. Has an influencer. So I'll talk to you about some of the habits of the influencer and some of the importance of being an influencer. Now, one of the first takeaway that you will get from this program is you will learn how to master the fastest way to cash flow your brand. And this is something that many rising stars in business you struggle with. You struggle with the ability to cash flow your business and your brand. Why are you struggling with this? Well, what we have researched and what we are seeing, many rising stars in business you struggle in this process because you have not yet conquered the know, like, and trust factors. All right. Enough people don't know you, so they don't have enough reason to trust you and to like you. And the facts are showing that people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So you struggle in business because of the fact that you haven't been able to break through this barrier. Perhaps there are other reasons. Perhaps the way you are projecting yourself to be known is not necessarily adding value, it's not necessarily fixing problems. So people are making an informed and educated decision that, hey, that's not what I want. Just saying. But this platform in of itself, it helps you to understand the fastest way to cash flow your business. And I'm going to share some of those nuggets with you because when you want to break through the know, like, and trust, you have some options that are available to you. And these are habits that you need to form. For example, there's something that we call influencer marketing. And what influencer marketing does, it helps you to partner with an influencer. And why do you need to partner with an influencer when you want the fastest way to cash flow your business and your brand? Why do you need to partner with an influencer? Is it a good habit? What is the importance of this habit? You're going to partner with an influencer because the influencer have already conquered the challenge of being known, being liked, and being trusted. So what they do, they endorse your brand. And because they endorse your brand, the people that they know, the community that they appeal to, because they know, like, and trust what they're saying, they are now coming to invest with you. So that literally removed the barrier that you normally would encounter to position yourself to cash flow your business. So these are strategic approaches that you can use. All right. That was going to help you to cash flow. But let me say this. To partner with an influencer may not come cheap. So if you're in business and you're saying to yourself, hey, I can now leverage, influencer to achieve my business objective, cash flow optimization, cash flow maximize, so I can go to the bank with a big smile on my face, it doesn't come cheap. And if you're thinking in ways that is preventing you from making this type of investment into enhancing the visibility, reach, and impact, and the ability to convert and cash flow optimize and to build confidence, trust, and credibility in your brand, these are some of the reasons why you're going to struggle to cash flow. So the GIP initiative, which is the Global Influencers Partners Program, is really going to help you to understand some of these strategies that you can use to enhance your business potential to cash flow. So yes, you can use influencers, it's going to come at a cost, but the alternative that you have also, you can position yourself to be an influencer. So you have read a lot, you've write a lot, so you have learned great things, you have conquered, you've developed mastery in your area of expertise. Why not become an influencer? You have studied for many years and you are a subject matter expert. Why not become an influencer? So the GIP initiative is really going to really help you to form the right habits, the healthy habits around becoming an influencer. Of course, there are many moving parts to this, but what I'm doing, I'm pointing out the important body of knowledge that you need to learn, apply, and master when you want to be successful in business. And becoming an influencer, if you're not willing to partner with an influencer to help you to break through the know, like, and trust, you have another option. But investing in yourself, becoming an influencer, it will take some time, depending on who you're working with, who is the mentor, who is the coach, who is your supportive community. It will take some time. But the GIP initiative really helps you to understand how to become a global influencer. All right. It sets you up to apply these tools. And it makes sense because, as I said earlier on, people invest with people that they know, like, and trust. So you either have a close relationship with them, or because you know them because they're social media influencers, you command a certain degree of trust. So the GIP initiative, the Global Influencers Partners programs, will set you up to do this. But there's so much more that you will learn from this program. You see, let me talk about another habit, a bad habit, and you want to replace this with what I'm going to say. There are many rising stars in business. You simply make an emotional decision and you get into business. You do not want to do that because it's going to cost you your time, it's going to cost you capital, and it may cost you a whole lot of stress. You don't just jump into business. One of the programs that we have developed is the Science of Success. And the Science of Success says that you always need data to influence the action that you're going to take, the action or the inaction. I'll talk about that later on. But let me bring this home with what I'm saying here. Just don't start a business because you want to start a business. It's a bad habit. Start a business because it makes sense. Start a business because you understand how to manage that ecosystem. For example, there's a concept that we call the cost of doing business. Do you really understand the real cost of doing business? One of the things that this program will do, the GIP initiative, is to help you to understand and to master the real cost of doing business. Because not knowing and understanding the real cost of doing business can be the factor that breaks your success. You fail because you underestimated the cost of doing business. All right. And because you underestimate the cost of doing business, you run out of capital. And that vision is compromised. You see, one of the essential things that we talk about on our platforms, and let's talk about habits. We've introduced to you a concept that we call the proactive leaders ecosystem. And some of the essential takeaway that you get from the proactive leaders ecosystem is that you learn the importance of thinking ahead. What are you thinking ahead? You want to be a rising star in business, but are you thinking ahead of the processes that you need to conquer to be successful in business? Or you wait until your backs are against the wall and then you recognize that you're so ill prepared to deal with the challenges in front of you? Perhaps you need to do some more reading, some more writing, some more talking, and some more teaching so you can refine that body of knowledge. We're still talking about habits, importance of habits, definition and importance of habits. So there's a cost to start and scale a business. What is that cost? The cost may vary depending on the type of business that we're talking about and the kind of impression that you want to create, the kind of demographic that you are appealing to. The cost will vary. But regardless of the variable cost, you need to understand the cost of doing business, because when you underestimate this, it's going to be one of the factors why you're going to fail. So habits to form is to master the ability to think ahead, master the ability to see beyond the problem, Master the ability to take informed action. These are things that you would hear me talking about all the time. You want to be successful. Do you have a formula for success? So these are essential tenets, habits that you need to form, learn, apply, and master. And the GIP initiative, which is the Global Influencers Partners Program, is going to set you up to be successful again. Healthy habits to form. So what we have done at the Bestseller Portal, what we have done at Global Capital Inc. is really design programs that is vital, is necessary, is essential to moving your business forward. Every business needs visibility, reach, and impact. What the Global Influencers Partners Program will do is to give you visibility, not just local visibility, but national, regional, and international visibility. We have done this several times and we can do it for you. And that's helping you to break through the barriers of know, like, and trust. So this program is going to go so deep into that to really help you to understand some of the reasons why businesses fail, some of the habits that you need to break, some of the habits that you need to adopt when you want to be successful in business. All right. So I trust that this body of knowledge that I've just shared with you is enough food for thoughts. So I want to go a little bit more into the benefits of this program. And I also want to talk, about habits. Your habits can either push you forward or the habits can pull you back. And you need to be clear about your habits. You want to be clear about your habits. So I'm still on the Global Influencers Partners Program because it's a beautiful program. It's a beautiful program for rising stars in business. And just let me share with you, we have been working with a number of rising stars in business. And you can just feel their joy when they are visible across social media. And they're reaching multiple of thousands of persons that they can potentially convert into paying customers. They don't have to worry about cash flow because several things is happening here. They are building visibility. They're, achieving reach and impact with the ideal client. And because they're breaking through the know, like, and trust, they are cash flow optimizing. They're achieving the business objective. They feel as though they're growing and scaling. So these, what I'm tabling to you, are essential habits that you need to form. But let's go a little bit more into habits. Today, we are talking about definitions of habits and importance of habits. Now, I'm going to start with habits that you should avoid. One of the things that we see many rising stars in business do, you start a business and you have multiple great ideas flowing around your minds, and you're excited about all of them, and you want to go to market with all of them one time. That's a big mistake. Why? Because you have limited human resources at your stage. You have limited technical resources and limited capital resources to move that vision forward. So if this is your habit, you need to watch it, because that in of itself can undermine your business potential to be successful. So one of the things that we look at with the GIP initiative is the concept that we call master your MVO and the business analytics. Yes, master your MVO and the business analytics. Now, what exactly do I mean by the term MVO? MVO means your minimum viable offer, but it means more than that. It means your most viable offer and your maximum viable offer. It means those three things. But in most cases, what we see it is that as a rising star in business, instead of going with your minimum and most viable offer, you tend to go with a maximum viable offer. That means you're doing multiple things at the same time. And because you're doing multiple things at the same time, one is canceling out the other. Again, because you have limited human resources, limited technical resources, and limited capital resources. So you want to make it healthy practice to avoid going with the maximum viable. Look at your minimum viable offer. The thing about it, some people believe that, hey, I have to do 10 projects to cash flow optimize. You don't necessarily have to do that. You see, when you're doing the business analytics, the market analytics, you know exactly what business model to identify, which value proposition to go to market with. Because again, the business analytics says to you that these are specific needs in the market. The business analytics says to you that these are the size of the market, or this is the size of the market. From the size of the market, you can then predetermine the viability of the market. So the business analytic gives you all of this. So from the viability, you now have justification to produce the product. Perhaps not yet. You need to do the stress test. So you go through the stress test. The business analytics says to you that when you produce, you're going to be reaching an urgent and immediate need because there's a gap in the market. For example, let's take, for example, the U.S. real estate market. Today, we are seeing that the market is about $4 million, household short of market supply. So you know that if you decide to get into this area of business, perhaps it would make a lot of sense once you can do the other tests. And the other test is to ensure that people have the ability and the willingness to pay for your products, because it doesn't make sense to build luxury apartments and then the people can't pay for it. So as you stress test your market, you're looking at all of this. So you know it makes a lot of sense to get into business. As a rising star in business, you need this body of knowledge to help you to make informed and educated business decisions. So what we're saying to you, you don't have to go with your maximum viable offer. You can go with your minimum viable offer, which is the lowest hanging fruit, or you can go with your most viable offer, which is your premium viable product. But you go with one. And when you do the business analytics, the business stress test, that one project or business or brand can have the potential to generate massive amounts of disposable income. So you can effectively apply and deploy the limited resources that you have to that one until that one becomes exactly what you want it to be. It becomes a cash flowing machine. So when you reach to that stage, you can now take your excess liquidity and pump it into perhaps your maximum viable offer. Because perhaps you might be thinking that, hey, I need to have a supermarket. All right. And to supply your supermarket, you need multiple products. Just saying. But you want to take action that makes a lot of sense. So sometimes our very habit, your very habit is what's undermining your success, because your habit in of itself, by going to market when you don't have adequate human resources, when you don't have adequate technical resources and adequate capital resources, that type of habit by default is going to set you up to undermine your success story. All right, it's going to set you up to undermine your success story. So you want to position yourself to be successful. And we at Global Capital Inc., the bestseller portal, we have built out these content largely because we want to see you win in business. All right, we want to see you win in life. We believe in you. You need to believe in yourself and then take informed action to get the right information and position yourself for success. All right, we believe in you. It's time that you start to believe in yourself. So let me quickly look at a couple of the things. One of the things that we advertise in our program a lot, and you're going to be hearing more about the Science of Success University, because everything that we do from that perspective is based on data, it's based on what the science is saying. All right, it's based on what the science is saying. And when we look at the science is the best clue that you can use to position yourself to attain the level, whatever success that you're going after. All right, we look at what the science is saying. To be successful across spectrum is not about emotional decisions. I'm not telling you to get rid of your emotion, but I'm saying use emotion when it makes sense. You need data in business. You need to research. You need to collect sensitive data. Put yourself in a position of strength to analyze sensitive data. Put yourself in a position of strength to be able to leverage information the right way and mitigate it. These are all habits that you need to form when you want to start and scale and master and conquer the next best business. And our platform is designed to provide that content of information to you, that body of knowledge to you, to ensure that you succeed in business. So again, I want to encourage you to go to the bestseller portal and look at some of these programs that we are doing. Look at the programs. In fact, let us come back to Business Success Blueprint. Guess what? It's free. They say there's no free lunch, right? But this is some free breakfast. It's free. Go and get registered for this program. You're a rising star in business. We'll talk to you about how to master the proactive leaders ecosystem. You want to put yourself in a position of strength where you are a proactive leader. So I'm just giving you a high level overview of some of the programs that we have. All right. And I think you owe it to yourself to learn these programs, to master these programs in your life. Essential habits to form. Well, my folks, we have reached an hour. It has been a lot of fun being with you today. I have been the lone wolf in the house today, but it has been fun doing this. And sometimes my team, they're going to be back. But sometimes, you know, in life and in business and leadership, you just have to step out and get the job done. All right. No excuses. Get the job done. The team will come. So I want to say to you, today's Tuesday. Have a great rest of the day and have a great week in front of you. I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself. And I just want to reemphasize this. We work as a team. And we work as a team to ensure that you, a rising star in business, you're getting access to capital. So if you're in the US and you need capital, regardless of where you are in the US, 50 states, we can get you access to capital. Debt, equity, credit, creative financing, or hard money lending. We can help you get access to capital. So feel free to reach out to us in the event that you need access to capital. We are a community of people that when you need help to start and scale that US-based business, we can provide you with that type of support. All right, so I want to encourage you to feel free to reach out to us to learn more of what we can do to help you to start and scale your business and cash flow optimize. Have a great rest of the day. It has been a pleasure being with you today. I trust that you enjoyed the nuggets. Today's topic, we looked at definitions and importance of habits. All right, and some of the essential habits that I looked at early on is build healthy habits around reading, I went into that a lot. Build healthy habits around writing, build healthy habits around talking the right things, and build healthy habits around teaching. Those habits can take you a far way. So with that being said, have a great rest of the day, a great week ahead, and we'll do this again tomorrow.